plan didn't work out.
Uh-huh.
And we're gonna be live here in
Here we
a couple of
go.
seconds.
Yep.
She coming up?
There she blows.
There we are. Oh, my
Oh,
phone.
go
My
back to where you're supposed to
computer
be.
shouldn't have made that noise. Hey, uh, True Crime Live viewers, look at that fucking overlay over there. It's got my name. This is a disaster. I quit. I quit the live stream. Just, sorry. Okay, let me move that over there. Keep looking at that. That's come on, you yeah, Zoom. You can do better now. We're gonna close that. And how do I close this? I want that overlay to go away. Close. Did it go away? Look normal now.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna slide this.
Gone, daddy gone.
Hey people, what's up? We are just getting our ducks in a row. Did I get a haircut? Thanks, Mary. Of course I did get a haircut. I
Uh-huh.
had you know what? I had a good day. I
Okay.
had a good
Okay.
day until 15 minutes ago.
Sometimes that's all it takes.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the
Oh
beauty
yeah.
of life, my friend.
Oh yeah. And in a minute here, when we get a little more people in, I'll explain what I've been doing for the last 15 minutes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's
Look at your little skinny face.
doesn't it look skinnier
Look
when I get
great.
that? Thanks,
And I
people.
think it does look skinnier on this camera.
Well, the other one's a fisheye. I fucking
Yeah.
hate it. It like makes my arms look small and my head
Yeah.
look giant.
Well,
But this is the actual side. And whoever it was, someone on our socials told me to adjust my camera more like Janet, so my head's towards the top of the screen. See, I was thinking that, you want to see me right here, dead center. That's what you're looking for.
uh-huh.
Uh, Turns out no, they want people want to see my midriff.
Yeah, we want to see your midriff.
Yeah, they want me occupying a large majority of the screen.
Yeah.
A little out of sorts. Thank you, Erica. Looks so good. Yeah,
I'm
actually,
gonna start reading these. What am I doing? I'm just gazing at you. All right.
well, it's hard not to do. I
Hello,
understand.
everyone.
But yeah, I weighed myself for the first time today, and because I stopped doing the because I was upset. I was getting for my own mental health as I'm working through this whole healthy living thing that I'm doing. I was getting obsessed with the scale, so I was like, I'm going to wait and
Oh,
weigh in.
yeah. Yeah.
So I had waited. I hadn't weighed in almost 2 weeks, and I dropped 6 more pounds during those.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah,
Good for you.
Coming right off.
That's the nice part about eschewing, if I may use a 10-cent word, eschewing the things like a scale is that you get the cumulative effect of like, instead of like, oh, half a pound here, half a pound there, it's like 6 pounds, just like that.
Yeah. Did you say a shoeing?
Eschewing.
Like what one would do to a horse?
No, eschewing, like ESCHEW is a word, like forgoing.
Yeah. Chris,
Don't hold up your chew.
it's not chew. It's nicotine. Give me. I
You're
gotta have something.
You're eschewing.
I'm
You're
eschewing my shoe.
eschewing.
I'm eschewing a shoe.
Smoking. Yeah.
Chris, right before you came on, you must have been the one that said something. I said that a listener had told me that my camera angle needed to be fixed, so I fixed it. So that if that was you, you're welcome. Everybody, as we come in, everybody's loading up into the to the chat now. Make sure you go through and like the YouTube video. Anybody that's in the Truth and Justice podcast page, fan page on Facebook, and if you can listen, we're very professional. Also, we are not professional at all. I don't want to take time and try to like post this link out places. So if you guys, someone like post this link in the fan page, let people know that we're live, that'd be great. If someone like tweets it at me, I can real quick clickety clack and do a quick little retweet that we're live. Happy to do that. But you're gonna start it all. But the first thing that I need you to do is go and hit that like button. Smash the like button. Wait, is there music?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys may have noticed, so there's sound effects on the soundboard, and I didn't know until I watched the replay of our stream yesterday that we were dancing to nothing because there was
it's funny. I think it's funny to be. I thought I was dancing to nothing, and that's what I thought was so funny about it.
Oh no, I'm watching it thinking that we were all hearing that and dancing, but it was silent. It wasn't coming through. But can you hear everything now? Like if I tell you the story I'm about to tell about the dumb thing I did,
Yeah.
that's coming through loud and clear.
Loud and clear.
Loud and clear.
Loud and
Is it too
clear.
loud? How does
It seemed good. The pitch seems good to me. How does everyone else feel about how loud it is?
I heard it this time. Posted. Thanks, Kathy. Kathy, did I bring my phone in? Yeah, if somebody tweeted at me and I'll retweet.
I think I included the link when I tweeted earlier.
I did too, but that was early. Also,
So you can you can retweet yourself and say, "Whoa, Tony coming in hot."
Tony with the super chat just for saying hi. Thanks,
Tony.
As a reminder, as Tony reminds us all that if the chat as this fills up is going to get hot and heavy. Super chatting us will guarantee your chat gets read.
I like the lowercase hi. I got to be honest with you, Tony, and I understand this is probably not your intention, but ever since I briefly dated a guy who used to text me only in lower cases, and his like opening to every text conversation was just small h, small I, hi. It seems very flirty to me, so hi, Tony.
So you like it because it's flirty?
Yeah. I don't care for that guy anymore, but I liked his style.
While we're on grammar and words and various things like this, I thought it would behoove me to bring up.
Hooving, like you hoof like a
horse. Yeah,
works with both of those words.
Okay, when you beshoe, what did you say?
Eschew.
When you eschew or you behoove a horse, either one, you put the beshoes on its behoove. I just want to make you aware because it's embarrassing not just for you but a little bit for me. While we're on here, this is called a YouTube channel. It's a YouTube channel.
Okay. I said page, huh?
You said YouTube page, and very much I thought my mother made that Facebook post. I thought my 72-year-old mother made the Facebook post saying,
"Is your 72 mother working on 80 things at once and just trying to get by and get through the day?" Because that is where my head was. It was
she's a lazy lady. Can you believe it? She does hardly anything with her life at 72. Tired. Paisley Payson, thank you so much for the big super chat. Just want to say I've been a day one listener and appreciate all the hard work you and everyone here has done. Thank you so much, Paisley, and we appreciate the super chat. We appreciate it, and we appreciate and listen, I also want to point out, we kind of drive things through this, like the way that we get it paid for this is through the super chats. But also, we understand that a lot of you guys just want to participate and be here, and you can't afford to do that. Don't feel like you need to. Like, we'll do our best to keep up with everybody. We very much appreciate it. But I don't want somebody feeling like, oh, I can't be there. I can't participate because I can't afford to, to pay money for the chat. So don't worry about that. We're just gonna do our thing. We're gonna have fun. I do want you to know, I against my better judgment, which is now what is turned into what is now my best judgment. I gave today's celebrity drop-in a warning because as it turned out last time, not everybody's able to drop exactly everything they're doing in a moment. After we got off the live stream yesterday, got lots of texts back. Oh, again, no, can we do it? So
we're learning as we go. A drop-in doesn't have to mean that it's a drop-in like that person is on the toilet and they hastily.
Can we agree we both want them to be on the toilet?
I mean, sure, of course I want that. Do I want that?
Just think, Rabia on the toilet on
nope.
Zoom.
Nope,
not for you.
Hard pass. Hard pass.
Somebody asked in there, is there any more comedy shows? Tool Girl. Yeah, actually, Zach and I are both performing. If any of you are near Northwest Indiana, Northeast Illinois, or Southwest Michigan, and I need to post about it, but at the Decibels Comedy, it's actually a club show. We got booked by a booker at a club show. Zach is going to do a 10-minute open guest spot, and then I am the feature act, and on May 26th at Decibels. And I think the tickets are like $10, like $10 at the door. Actual comedy show, or at an actual comedy club. This will be the first time I've ever performed at an actual comedy club. Kind of like
okay, and it's called Decibels.
Decibels, yes.
And it's purely a comedy club. I'm always curious about comedy club names because they are famous for having kooky names, and Decibels is one of the both most and least kooky I've ever heard.
Yeah,
all at once.
And as you say that, I should point out, it's not just a comedy club. As I said, it's It's like an entertainment
Okay, makes more
venue. They
sense.
do, yeah. They have a lot more. I think they do like bands through the week.
Yeah.
They do
Okay.
comedy on the like on
That
Friday
checks
night
out.
or whatever it was. It's totally wrong. Zach, yeah, Jeanette. Zach was yesterday's drop in.
Did you say? Oh, okay. I thought you were calling me Jeanette for a second, and I was like, similar, but not the same. But this is to actual Jeanette. Hi, Jeanette, and hi, Joelle, for listening. I'm glad you listened to Super Ego and enjoyed it when we were talking about Matt Gorley yesterday. Very funny and a wonderful guy.
Wouldn't that be funny if the celebrity drop in that I arranged and didn't tell you about
It would be a surprise.
was Matt Gorley?
It would be a surprise.
Yeah.
It would
Oh,
definitely be a
a date
surprise.
with K&K. Hi, Bob and Janet. Kimberly. Hey, Kimberly. There's another celebrity drop in right
What
there.
the?
Yeah.
Hi,
Kimberly from A Date with Dateline.
Kimberly. That's exciting.
Yes, Kimberly, you're going to be joining us on this show sometime soon. But not tonight, though. You're not the celebrity tonight. So mind your business.
There can be more than one. She is. Kimberly, don't listen to him. You
Yeah.
know you're the celebrity.
Listen, Kimberly, what are you doing right now? There's a delay.
There's a delay.
You're just going for 5 minutes.
No. So what are you doing right now?
Yeah,
No.
how about now? This was indeed Lynn Clever, the chapstick from the AMPM. So let me tell you what happened. Someone noticed early on in the chat, and again, if you haven't already gone over and liked that, hit that like button. That helps us out. Go ahead and do that. We both of us scrambling today. I want to get into what your day was here in just a minute because I know you had some important stuff, and I had some questions for you about some things that you were doing.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
I'm cycling back to wonder what I did today that you would deem important. But okay, go ahead.
well, I want to understand the strike and what's going on a little bit.
Uh-huh.
And I think people would like to know what's going on with that. Jeanette Lee, thank you so much. Am I going back to California to a meet and greet? I certainly hope so. I certainly hope. If I go back to,
here.
let me say that. When I go back to California, certainly we will do a meet and greet. And Angela Shane, thank you so much for the chat and for telling us that I'm amazing and Janet's all right. That's it.
You know what's working for me? The fact that for whatever reason your mic is picking up all the random squeaks and stuff that are happening in the office in a way I don't usually hear. So that was like the chair equivalent of crickets. You said something mean and then I just heard as your chair adjusted and it felt right.
There's a give and take here. If you want to hear and
which we do, obviously,
and all these great things, you also have to hear the squeak.
I would say you could go ahead and issue using the crickets because all you have to do is shift in your chair and you're getting exactly the same effect. Yeah. So we're golden.
Not great for audio. Valerie Cavallero, how come I can't put my chat on my TV version of YouTube? I have to do the chat on my phone, and I am too visually challenged now that I'm almost 46. You're just a youngster. You're just a youngster, Valerie. Though I only bought one pair of glasses.
One pair of glasses?
I'm pretty sure I'm
Valerie
right now.
Everyone knows you need at least 3 to 4 pairs.
Well, I know you can view the chat on a smart TV. I don't think you can participate in the chat on the TV. Maybe you can. I don't know how one would be. I'm not too technically savvy there. But thank you for joining us, and thank you very much for the super chat.
I want to point out that Angela, who we love, thank you so much, Angela, has a double L in her name, and then quick to follow, not to be outdone, Valerie has a double L in her last name. That is a valuable contribution from me. That's called detective work. I just detected two L's. That's 4 L's.
Looks like we made it.
Oh, didn't mean to hit it twice. I've been wanting to hit that one for a long time.
We did it.
So let me tell you about what's going on. So someone noted that I look like I showered, and I have to listen. I showered.
That is so sad that someone can point out the difference. Like something's different. Did you shower?
Yeah, there's a well, if they were in the room, they wouldn't think so, and let me tell you why. So I mentioned yesterday I had an interview today. I think we talked a little bit about this for the thank you so much, Chantel, for the super chat. That I think it was through the Patreon. I had mentioned that I'm interviewing. I haven't decided if I want to do it or not, but it sounds like a really fun thing. Our local high school is doing like a multimedia production class, and they've asked me to teach it. It would be just a part-time job, a couple classes a day down the road. And as most of you guys know, I am a teacher. I've been a teacher for a long time, and I haven't done it in a while. And I kind of miss working with kids and doing that. So I still haven't decided if I'm doing it yet or not. They haven't offered me the job yet, but I did go in for that interview today. And Erica Miller, thank you so much, and happy Tuesday to you. So I had the interview today. So I was forced to shower today, which
Forced.
I showered Sunday. I want to point out before I went out to my daughter to my daughter's work to have dinner. I told you guys that. And then I showered today also. So that's 2 showers in 3 days. That's a record for me. My personal hygiene,
That's a record for you.
something to be desired.
Oh,
No,
good for
granted,
you.
like if you guys are ever like if you guys are at Obsessed Fest and you see me and want to come give me a hug or say hi or whatever, I will be clean, because in that
Yeah.
instance I will be in a hotel room and the only thing I have to do is go be around lots of people. My
Yes.
normal routine is I'm around Quail
Yeah.
and myself. So when I
Yes.
come here in my sweaty gym clothes, it doesn't matter. But today I had the interview, so I got this morning and I super early I went to the barber shop at 7:30 in the morning, got the old haircut.
Yeah.
Then I went to the gym, and then I came home and I showered and I trimmed the beard, and I got dressed up. And this is what I wanted to do, because I was such a mess yesterday. I wanted to come in here because this is what happened. I got dressed. I was wearing this. This is an undershirt, but I had also a black collared shirt over this that was cut just right for my new shapely body that I've been constructing over these.
Shapely.
Shapely. It's and I looked in the mirror, and and this is your fault, Janet. The only word I can think of was, "Oh, you look fly, Bob. You look real fly."
Yeah, you look fly.
Yeah. And so
For a white guy.
yeah, right. That's a song.
Yeah.
The 80s? We're going all the way back to the 80s.
Probably.
Yeah, I think so, 80s. But so, and I got home and it's black, obviously, and I have dogs, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take my dress shirt off and hang it out here in the office, and I'm gonna take my pants off and put on some gym shorts just because they're more comfortable, and I just don't want to get everything all dirty. But then when I come for the live stream, putting that collared shirt back on,
No.
you're only gonna see me from here up. I'm gonna look real fly, just like I did in that interview. I was looking sharp. So that was the plan this whole day. Then I was doing a little multitasking. Most of you guys know I raised those quail. Turns out that was the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
felt like it was the 90s, but you could see from my face I had no idea, and I was just
I knew I was pretty young.
grimacing through it. So many L's.
So this is what happened.
This is fantastic.
I fancy myself a bit of a multitasker. And in evening times is when I normally I collect the quail eggs that I'm going to ship out, and check all their cages and everything. And the water for the quail is above the cages in these big tubs. And so I took a hose and I put it in there and I turned it on, cracked it just a little bit. And then I came in the office to do something, and then you text me, and I started texting you back and forth. And then Erica Cantor, those of you guys know the lovely and amazingly talented Erica Cantor from True Crime Binge, she was texting me, and I texted her, got distracted, and then I went back out there, and there was a waterfall pouring down onto, not onto the quail, but onto their drip pans and their feeding troughs in the front of them, and one of the cages completely soaked. So, and this was at 7:40 now, and this is not a scenario where I can be like, I'll take care of that later.
Right.
Their
That's
food
an
is
emergency.
ruined. They are wet, and
Yeah.
there's mess. So I spring to action, and I take the food troughs out. I split my. Let me show you. These are my new Hey Dudes. You know what that is?
Oh no.
Yeah, that's well, I'll tell you the first thing. If you had
Please say none of
smell-o-vision,
it's shit.
if you had smell-o-vision,
No.
you would know what that is. That's just remnants.
No.
But so then I had six. It's a 6-tier cage. That means 6 drip pans full of tomorrow's cleaning day for the cages. 6 drip pans full of quail shit. I mentioned yesterday when it was outside and it was real hot and sunny how the quail poop smells when it gets real hot. Yeah, you know what smells worse than dried up hot quail poop?
What?
Quail poop soup. That's what smells worse.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
yeah. And then now luckily, luckily
Can't believe there's a luckily to this story.
well, I start to pull the trays out because I got to dump these trays and get the poop soup out of there, uh,
No.
and clean them off and put fresh bedding on there. And I'm like scrambling. My heart rate, according to my watch, was 135 during this whole ordeal.
I
trying to
bet.
trying to sweep out everything.
Were you
But
cursing? Were you muttering curses?
uh,
Were you yelling curses?
I wasn't, and most people that and Zach would tell you this too when you were around me. I think it's from years of being a firefighter that when like shit is hitting the fan, my reaction is always like, stop,
Yeah.
make a plan,
Great.
execute plan.
Wonderful.
Internally, I'm going mother. And so I'm pulling the drip pans out, which are like sheet metal, and they're 3 feet wide by 2 feet, and they're sheet metal, so they're they'll wiggle. They got a lip on them about a half inch. It's full of water and quail shit. And as I'm pulling it out, thank God it occurred to me right before I pulled it out, like this thing's gonna tip. Better grab it towards the front, so if it tips, everything flushes off the back and not because it's eye
Smart.
level.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
of course, the first one I pull out went and it just poured
Oh
quail shit.
God.
I was this close, just
Oh.
wearing all of the. So that's what I was doing in the final 15 minutes of prep.
I want to point out that the phenomenal Kathleen Pape is here, weighed in with a super chat question about kittens, and inadvertently, what she ended up getting was a story about, and I quote, quail poop soup.
Quail poop soup.
So if you can
Did you see
augment
who
that
that
with
was?
some, I said Kathleen Pape.
Oh, you did? Yeah.
Yeah. And so if you can augment that with any kitten updates, are we still talking about some specters in the darkness
I
who may or may not
tried.
have black faces who
Yeah, I
are
tried
yet to
just for you
emerge?
guys because I knew it was coming up. I tried to get
Mhm.
more pictures, video for you guys, and got the exact same thing I got yesterday. But they are 15 days old.
Okay.
So any day now they should start to. And if anybody ever seen a wobbly little kitten that's starting to, and then they start doing that little sideways hop they do, that's coming. It's coming soon, and I'll share it all. We'll share it all with you on here. This is Kitten Talk 2023 here on.
Hi, Terry.
And Terry, thank you also so much for that super chat. Pretty fly for white guy was 98. That's what Garrett said.
Dang, that's late.
Late 90s.
Yeah.
Wow, I was out of high school by then.
Erica, don't you dare buy him new shoes. That's not your fault.
Listen, why would you encourage her not to buy me? These are brand new Hey Dudes. I've worn these like 3 times, and they stink. Anywho,
Yeah, that's not good.
quail poop.
That's just
soup.
not good.
So your day, and then I want to talk a little bit about what we should probably try to establish what we're doing here. We'll talk about that. But did you get out to the picket line today?
Nope. Did not have time. Absolutely did not have time.
Can you explain,
Everything just shifted and it was awful. Yeah.
Can you explain briefly like what's going on with the writer strike? Because I know what's going on.
Sure.
I know from listening to other podcasts that people that aren't even writers, like people that are just in the Screen Actors Guild and stuff, are out helping to picket and stuff like that. So it's a big deal. What's going on because it affects you.
Yeah. I'll try not to go on and on about it because there's a lot of different moving parts to it. But basically, so we all love and enjoy our Netflix. We've all kind of seen how a streaming model, if you will, like really kind of took over watching television. And many people don't have cable anymore. They just have the apps that they use to watch stuff. And so that really kind of upended the whole model of how certain people, and in fact, most people who work in show business in particular, I mean, also in films as well, because the pandemic happened and then box office stuff sort of that shape of that changed as well. So as all of this stuff has been changing, the way that writers and many other people in the industry get paid has essentially suffered for it. And yet yet these different studios or these different streamers are making just billions and billions and billions of dollars. But the way that they account for where that money goes or where the money comes from or how many people are watching and how often something is being watched. All of that has been very closely guarded, which is sort of strange because it goes against this idea of like, hey, this is the number one show on NBC and it goes into syndication. So that's why, we have like my friends who are on The Office will never have to work again ever if they don't want to, because in every country there are these syndicated reruns of The Office and they're getting paid every time that happens. So if something is as popular as The Office, and I'm sure this is true for The Office on Netflix, which maybe it went away for this reason, I can't remember, but there was just this sort of like, well, we'll pay you once and I guess that'll be it. So because there's no model for like, and because it always plays again at this time on this day. And also seasons were getting shorter and it started to feel more like a gig economy, and writers, it's the whole kind of shrinking of the middle class that I think happens. And this is an apolitical statement because I think it's a problem. It's a problem on whatever political spectrum you look at. I don't feel that either of our two main parties has done a good job to protect the middle class in any way, shape, or form. So that's kind of what's going on. So when their contract came up, which is the sort of big picture contract that they make with the Producers Guild, who decides what they get paid and stuff, they were like, they tried to negotiate for months, and then finally they said, you're just not yielding that much, and we're not even asking for that much. We're asking for 3% more for some of the kind of basic stuff that they do, and a few other things like help us be protected from AI so that you can't just take someone's face and the sound of someone's voice and go, well, we don't need Tom Cruise anymore. We have AI Tom Cruise and we don't have to pay him a penny. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. Right. That's not fair. Of course, I just don't know a single person who wouldn't say, well, that's not fair. Like, that's not cool. You can't, create an actor who is the exact likeness of someone and not pay that person. And the Producers Guild was like, whatever. Like, we're not want to, maybe we will do that. And so the strike was initiated after, again, months of negotiation. It's not like they didn't know this was coming. And that was the other thing that was happening is all these scripts were being pushed out quickly. Like, oh, we got a strike coming up. We better film all the stuff we can so that we have all this content. But there are shows that are still being affected by it because, and I love this and it like warms my heart, is there are other unions who, as part of what they do, they will not cross a picket line. So the Teamsters, who are the guys and gals and folks who make the stuff show up, like this is how we get our gear into the studio. This is how we get our cameras. This is how we get our cranes. This is how we get our food supply. All of that kind of stuff. The Teamsters will not cross a picket line. So what's been happening is the writers and other union members who are authorized, who can strike like that, who can join them, have been forming these picket lines, and they have shut down productions that ostensibly should have been able to keep going, like Stranger Things, because these Teamsters are like, I'm not crossing that picket line. I respect the union. I'm not crossing the line. And so they've had to shut down. And then, many of the people who work on the show are like, I support the writers. I'm glad this happened, including the people who run the show. And so I think, the vast majority of people, and again, this is looking out for the work of like camera people. And I told you this is going to go on forever. Camera people, like the grip and electric, like the craft service, like it takes a mega village to make stuff happen. And most of those are like sort of, middle class jobs, and they're the hardest working people. They're working sometimes 17, 18, 19-hour days. So it's hard work, believe it or not. I know it sounds really fun and easy, but it's not. It's really hard, especially for the people who are lugging everything in and working their asses off, and they're not getting recognized. So it's very much it's about like, please don't give all the money to the CEOs. Like, the money belongs to the people who are making these stories to be told, not just for writers, but it's trying to initiate. And in fact, the SAG-AFTRA contract is up soon. And I think the IATSE contract is up soon. There are other unions that are like, let's see what's happening here, because maybe we'll be able to protect the little guy a little bit more as well. And unions are complicated, and I don't always have great things to say. It's not like I universally am like, unions are perfect, let's never change them. But this is interesting because it's been cool to see people come together and say, billionaires can't keep all the money. It's just not fair.
Yeah. So I've heard a lot of people from just the industry in general talking about that. It's bad with everything they're doing. And I don't want to go too much further into it, but I'm glad they're doing it, and because because the industry, that those scales have always been, I went through it with my show, just learning that, like I had these back end deals when I made the Forgotten West Memphis 3, and they're like, oh well, if it gets sold here and the blah blah blah, and then you never see a dime from it because they always claim that it's not making any money, even though you see it like trending, it's number one on Hulu or whatever's going on. So
I'm
um
laughing that Kathy said, I've never seen Bod so quiet for so long. Kimberly says she agrees with everything I'm saying. Kimberly, you get it. I know that you have experience in this realm, very much so.
yes,
But it's hard because, and Kimberly, I'm sure you can relate to this too. Like again, I'm in the Writers Guild. That is not my principal means of income by any stretch of the imagination. I never pitch stuff. I never sell stuff. I've just happened to have sold stuff in the past. But it's been like years since I even tried to sell something as a writer. But because we don't get paid very much to do that, or to act, or to do voiceover, which I guess is acting, or to do these other things, the best way that you can survive is to have a bunch of different stuff going on that pays a little bit. And
yeah,
so it's hard because I can't just stop all the other jobs I'm doing that have nothing to do with the guild, like podcasting, and just do that. Or like I really will. I mean, I just will lose my house.
yeah,
so,
right.
so it's a delicate balance of trying to figure out how all of that
Yeah.
can work, and so it's been crazy. It's a crazy, and we'll see how long it lasts. I'll probably have lots of opportunities to hit the picket line because it could take a while.
Jennifer Hill, thank you for the chat, and she wants to know if there's any updates on Jesse Eldridge.
Great question.
There's not that I've heard of, but I will, before our next stream, I'll reach out and ask if anything new is going on. The last communication I had heard was just that we're in this holding pattern. There was DNA testing going on. It's Jesse's case is so frustrating to me because there was one piece of evidence that convicted him, and that was Troy Eldridge's statement. Troy has recanted. He has passed a polygraph proving that he's, to try to show the DA that the DA requested, to show that he is telling the truth, that his testimony was false. That should be enough. The conviction integrity unit has the case, and it's just sitting there. And poor Jesse, I get letters from Jesse still sometimes,
Mm.
and write in, but it's just dragging and dragging and dragging. But I will reach out to Allison. And here's Kathy McElhaney, who's very close with Jesse in the chat. She said he called her today.
Kathy.
She was working, couldn't talk to him, but Kathy's one of the Truth and Justice listeners who keeps in close contact with Jesse and helps keep his spirits up. And I know I don't think Jesse has ever written me a letter that didn't mention Kathy in the letter.
Kathy McElhaney.
Yep. And
What a
Kathy
dear
also,
heart.
she makes a hell of a chocolate chip cookie too, I might add.
Damn, now
She
you're
makes a
just
good
making
cookie.
me jealous. Come on. Come on.
So real quick before we get into our celebrity drop in, which we're going to do here in just a minute, and Janet, you don't even know.
And I don't even know. I don't know who it is.
So we had put out a couple posts today saying, what do you guys want to talk about here and there, and a lot of the and Jennifer, you're right. Jennifer said that his case is very similar to Leo Schofield and Bone Valley.
Great point.
Really is. And Jennifer also just wrote Jesse back recently. That's great. Thank you guys for doing that. But a lot of people said, let's cover this case, cover this case. I want to make sure our intention here is for this to be kind of like a talk show where we'll talk about some truth. And if there's stuff certainly if there's stuff going on in the news that, I promise you when the Delphi case starts, I'll be want to do daily updates on what's going on with that case. And some of the stuff, when we have time, you can research it. But our intention here isn't to come in and break down a case like an episode of a podcast. What we're trying to do is, this is kind of a new thing. I don't think anybody out there we talk about is really doing this, but to have a live chat that is really driven by you, the viewers, that tell us in the chats what the things you want to talk about. We talk because and we don't know really exactly, we're learning what we're doing here. So today I went to there's a website called Crime Online, and it's every day they put up all true crime stories from around the country, just headlines and stories. And I was like, oh, we'll go through, we'll read some of these stories. And I got so depressed because it was
Yeah.
what are we doing? You know what I mean? It's here's just us a terrible story, and here's another terrible story, and here's another terrible story, and here's another terrible story. So I know we don't want to do that. Uh, so that I know for sure. But we're gonna play this by ear, and a lot of it, like I said, a lot of it I intend for it to be really driven by you guys, and in the chats, the things you want to chat about. Sorry, I'm trying to invite our guest right now. This person, I think Janet's going to be really happy about this. And I told them it'd be around now. We'll see when they join us.
Okay. So it's out there. They're going to pop in.
Yep, they'll just pop in when they're ready. And you guys, anything you chat with us, super chat, whatever you guys want to talk about. One thing that I thought we could mention is there were a lot of people asked about the Scott Peterson case, that Robbie and Ellen covered on Unsolve the Case. Have you looked into that case? What are your, because there's like this new movement of people that want to like overturn his conviction.
Yeah, I'm not in that camp. I totally respect it, but I'm firmly in Team Guilty camp. I even believe, from what I recall from coverage that I had listened to and read from before, like the A&E, or I can't remember if it was A&E, but something like that, that documentary came out that was heavily on the side of like, look at all these reasons why he might not be guilty. I'm afraid that didn't change my mind. And so I feel, and I think when you had, I want to say when you had Dr. Scott on True Crime Binge, that was his case that he talked about. And I feel like I would just point people back to that episode, because when I listened to it, I was like, correct, yes, agree, and we're done. And I think also Jim and Laura and Lisa covered that as well. Oh no, that's so cool.
Look who's here.
Oh shit.
I can't hear you. One sec.
Ah,
Look,
this
everybody,
is
our celebrity
awesome.
guest has arrived.
Oh.
I don't know if you can hear us yet.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
You can?
Uh-huh.
Hi. I've
Janet.
never met, I've only emailed with Josh. I've never met him. Hi, Josh.
Hi. Well, and I had this intense shame as I was getting onto this call, because I was like, oh, a few months ago, I was going to like research something for Janet. and then that was like a year ago.
Oh my God, don't even. My life is just a shattered mirror of that. So don't even worry. It's just shards of like, oh God, I have the best intentions. I'm going to get there. But you're a very, very busy person working on something that many of us find extremely compelling. And I just love your take on this. So for anybody who for some crazy reason doesn't know, Josh has a phenomenal network, actually, now, like a studio where you are working on multiple podcasts. You've released multiple podcasts. You are perhaps best known, and I hate when people say that about my work, because I'm always like, yeah, but again, there is more. But True Crime Bullshit is sort of created this wave of like, oh my God, you can cover a killer in this way. And I know that Bob also had the experience of just being like, Jesus Christ, this guy's good. Like, you're just so thoughtful. And the last episode that you released, I'm pretty sure it was the last episode of this most recent season. I just, as usual, was just bawling, and then immediately looking up the song like I do every single episode. Like, got to get that featured song on my playlist. I've discovered new artists through you. It's a one-stop shop. I
don't even know what to say to all of that, except thank you. And it would be really weird if it was like, if I was like best known for his work with the Kelly Cochran case. So
I know you don't want that. I do know you don't want that.
No, thank you. And Bob, you look both svelter and hairier than the last time I saw you.
Agreed.
Janet, what's svelter mean?
Svelter, that means that you're looking trim, and there's I think svelte also has sort of there's a little bit of sexiness implied there, just a little. Just a little.
Yeah, but I mean, like, don't take that to the bank. It's just a
Don't take it
compliment.
to the bank.
Josh Hallmark thinks I'm sexy. Check.
I should not have said that, Josh. I apologize. I owe you big time.
No,
This is.
I'm
That was
never
my
going to
fault.
hear the end of this.
That
Never,
is my
never.
fault.
And you guys in the chat,
That
if you
is
have
my
questions
fault.
for Josh, shoot him into the chat so we can run those by him. I have questions for you. I saw you today. You were out because you're working on a film project. Can you talk about that? What you're doing?
Well, okay, so I just wrapped a project.
You've been very mysterious about it on the podcast.
Yeah, and I think I can talk about it soon, but not now. But today I filmed for 2020, which, funny enough, for the Kelly Cochran case. So that was my day today.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, so this other thing is not related to that.
It's bigger. It's what I'll say is this is I always approach TV as like it was never going to be about me. It was going to be about moving the investigation forward. This is more about me and my work on the investigation.
Okay.
But I feel really good about what we did, and when I get the thumbs up, you'll know what we did.
Very cool.
That's so. I
Cool.
had the similar experience. I did an episode of 2020 on the Melgar case a few years ago, and that was in all the film work that I've done. That was the best experience I had. Like that group is pretty fucking amazing. That puts that show together.
And like tight.
Oh, yeah.
Like we filmed in 3 days, or in 3 hours. It was amazing. Like got in, got it done, and got out of there.
Okay.
In
the
the
mystery.
in the turnaround time, like I think like when we made the docuseries, we filmed for 3 months, and then there was 6 months of editing, and then it was finally ready to go, and then 6 months after that they finally aired it. And then like when I did 2020, it's like they filmed an hour, and now they're doing. Is yours going to be a 2 hour, or they're doing 2 hours?
Yeah, it's 2 hour, and they were like, "This will be out June 2nd," and I was like, "What?"
Yeah. Yeah,
Cool.
they like turn this shit around, and like you talk about all the people that you're talking about that work on those sets. Like, I don't know how many wheels or cogs there are in that machine, but they crank stuff out fast and great. Kimberly in the chat may disagree, but so much better than Dateline. I mean, 2020. We're a 2020 family, so but they do a great job.
Well, and I mean, 2020 has been with us since our childhood. It's like the OG of these late night news programs.
Yeah, that's a good point. I want to quickly point out that Kathleen gave us the definition of svelte, and I defy you to tell me that this is any better. This is not any better for Bob's ego.
Great.
Slender and elegant.
That's me. That's me.
Sophisticated.
That's
okay. That
absolutely me.
Was absolutely a misuse on my end.
Gosh, we've spent a lot of time together. We've drank many bottles of wine together, and sophisticated, right? That's how you describe me.
It's the first word that comes to mind.
Josh, before you came on, he was describing how much bird shit he has all over his shoes. So we know how sophisticated Bob Ruff is. We're very well aware.
Speaking of, I just so the big project shot for like 2 weeks, and on the final day of shooting, we have all these pet ducks that are part of our family.
Right? Yeah.
One of them got hit by a car and killed.
Oh no!
And like one of the PAs had to come in and be like, and so it was like, and I'm one of those people that's always worried about everyone else. So I'm like sobbing, but I'm like, I don't want to like interrupt. I know you're on like a tight filming schedule. So yeah, that was, but it's so far enough in the past we can laugh about it. No, it's fine. It was just a weird, like, oh, this must be so awkward for you.
I know. I would have done the same thing. I did see a quick question. I just, because we were asking for questions, I don't know that there is a firm and quick answer to this, and I don't know
Probably
that
not.
Teresa thinks that there is either. I think it's like a statement as much as it is a question. But the volume, I'm sure you get this all the time, the volume of information that you are processing with your team and figuring out how to organize, just like we talk about with Bob, like how to put an episode together and how to keep track of it all, and how has that been for you? Is it crazy making?
I always think of this as like a storytelling podcast that tells true crime stories. So narrative storytelling is the basis of what I do, which I think is infuriating for some listeners because we're like, oh yeah, we did all this data mining and we found all these data breaches with keys. But like narratively, there hasn't been a good place for it yet. So we're just gonna have to wait till there is.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happens is it's become a many-legged beast, and we're going down 10 different avenues at once, and it's like, well, how do we cohesively tell this story? And sometimes it means one of the legs gets ignored for a year.
Yeah. And that, dude, I know I go through that a lot with Truth and Justice, where people will be like, well, here's a thing, and then they want to talk about it right now. It's like, but I'm less storytelling than you are in yours, but I'm still trying to turn every episode into something linear and something that's connected. And it's like, here's a nice progression of things, and then this thing, and I got to figure out where to put this thing in there. It's tricky. We do have a super chat from Jenna who wants to know. This is a very hard hitting one, Josh, and I hope and Janet that you two are ready for this. Jenna wants to know everyone's first celebrity crush.
Oh God,
wow.
It's mortifying. Truly mortifying.
Please let it be a woman. Please let it be a woman. Please let it be a woman.
Oh no. So I had a crush on two gentlemen from the same TV show, which was Home Improvement. And one of them was the obvious. One of them was the obvious, which was Jonathan Taylor Thomas, and the other was just a clear manifestation of my daddy issues. I had the biggest crush on Tim Allen as a child, and all I can do is beg for forgiveness. No, I've moved on.
No, you
got the heart does go on.
I'm trying to remember. I wanted to be something like kooky and adorable, like Kermit. But the only ones that are coming to mind, like both when if the answer is like whatever organically immediately pops into your head, whether that's like verifiably true or not, the two that popped into my head were Steve Martin and Jodie Foster. Like side by side, they had places on my wall. I had, every magazine article I could get my hands on. I would like tear it out and stick it on my wall. Speaking of daddy issues.
At least that's a good unproblematic daddy. I mean, so far.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah,
I'm just like Steve Martin's not one of the silver foxes that you hear people. He was a goofy guy.
I think lots of people probably have crushes on or had crushes on Steve Martin.
I would totally hit it.
Yeah.
To this day, right now. Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, he really has been revived with Only Murders in the Building, one of my absolute favorites.
I don't know that he needed to be revived, but maybe he did. I feel like he's just kind of always been out there. But like my crushes were definitely on stuff I was seeing that predated me seeing them live. Like they were like, videos and stuff, like watching The Man with Two Brains I was very into. And then So now maybe not. I'm gonna let Josh tap that.
Thank you for your generosity.
Seed it over. Yeah.
Yeah, you can have her leavings,
You
Josh.
take it.
For me, easy answer, Alyssa Milano when I was
yeah, sure.
Oh, when I was, all the way from like elementary school. I used to go, now this is embarrassing, but I would go and with my allowance and buy like the teeny bopper magazines, like the 17 and those magazines, just so that I could cut out pictures of Alyssa Milano and put them on my wall. That was during the Who's the Boss era back then, and then continued on. She never stopped being gorgeous for her entire life.
I've had dinner with Alyssa Milano. I met her once and had dinner with her. It was an interesting time in my life where for some reason my boyfriend's family was very close to Barry Zito, the pitcher at the time in San Francisco, and he was dating Alyssa. And so I had a double date with Alyssa Milano, Barry Zito, my then boyfriend, and it was super weird because it was like two people that I knew were very famous that I didn't have strong feelings about because for whatever reason, I didn't watch Who's the Boss. It's not like it was by choice. When you're a kid, you don't like, I don't know. I felt like I never watched it. I don't know. But I like everyone around was like it was such a big deal, and he was such a big deal at the time, and I was like, I know I'm living vicariously for someone. I know that there are lots and lots of like thousands of people that wish they were me right now, and they're both lovely. They were both wonderful, lovely,
I'm glad to
sweet,
hear that she's
charming.
nice.
Yeah, she was lovely. She was lovely.
They're also rebooting Who's the Boss, so you can relive your childhood crush all over again.
Oh,
And I can watch it I can discover it for the first time.
It's a
Fall
win-win.
in love for the first time.
None of those reboots work. Did you? I know
These are good ones. Halle Berry, great. Come on. I love that Kimberly said that Tim Allen, your crush on Tim Allen, she said, that hurts a little.
Kimberly, it hurts
Zach
me
from
more.
Saved by the Bell, of course. Jonathan Taylor Thomas got some votes. Sean Cassidy, Eric Estrada, shout out. Fred Savage, The Wonder Years, heard.
Kimberly says that Steve Martin does it for her as well.
Jason Bateman.
And,
Yeah, Jason Bateman
really
is talk about just continuing like he was adorable then and is adorable now. I agree with the Jason Bateman.
Jason Bateman, if I was attracted to men, he would be top of my list. Right behind Josh. He's very svelte.
He's very svelte.
I'm always curious about if I was attracted to men, this is the man I would have a crush on. Can we get a psychologist in to really evaluate that sentence?
Yes.
I guess what I'm saying is
yeah. So you're attracted to Jason Bateman.
I find him I find him handsome and I think he's funny, his and like outside of his acting, but when you watch him interviewed and listen to him talk, I'm like I could hang with him.
Yeah.
You seem flustered.
I know.
And,
I thought you were going to say I could hang dong.
In my mind, I'm like, what do I do
very
at the end of
scared.
the date? Do I smooch him? I don't know. I don't know if I have that in me.
Wonderful. Joey McIntyre, yeah. Oh, Harrison Ford, sure. Yes, 100%. Why am I seeing Jackie Gleason over and over again? I'm scared.
Oh.
Mike in the chat really wants you to say Jackie Gleason, and that's okay.
We'll skip it. You guys got a few more minutes. If you want to super chat any more questions for Josh. Meanwhile, I think Janet, if you've probably heard this story of when Josh and I had our first date.
I have, but I'm always game to hear it again.
For anybody there, to this day, what the most partying that I've ever done. I have one of our listeners made T-shirts that say, "I'd rather be drinking wine with Josh Hallmark." But we did. Josh and I. Where were we at?
We were in Cleveland at a hot dog bar.
Oh yeah, that's where we did a live show.
Perfect.
At a hot dog bar, which I didn't know was a thing, but like we got done with our live show and we sat down to eat, and it's like the menu is here's 400 different types of hot dogs, and you just pick which kind of hot dog that you want to have, and then fucking Captain tried to get a cereal killed.
Mm-hmm.
We were gonna get an Uber, and then Captain comes out and he's like, "This lady's gonna give us a ride back to our hotel."
Got it.
We're like, "Oh, friend of yours? Nope, never met her." We were just gonna, yeah, she's fine. She's gonna give us a ride.
Great.
Yeah, so we put Josh in the front seat and then rolled with it. And she dropped us off at the hotel at, what was it, 1 o'clock in the morning?
Might have been later than that, but yeah, but it was the next day for sure.
Yeah, and as we're going up the stairs, and this is Josh's fault because Josh is like, "Do you think it would be terrible if because like behind at the front desk you could buy bottles of wine? Like, would it be a terrible idea if we just grabbed a bottle of wine and sat here in the lobby and chatted for a while?" And I didn't think it was terrible, so we had 2 bottles of wine starting at 2 o'clock in the morning, just in the hotel lobby. And talk. I mean, we solved all the world's problems that night.
We did. You know, what's funny though is I remember you being the instigator for those 2 bottles of wine.
Okay. Memory is not infallible. Memory is malleable. We are seeing a true representation of that right here and now. We're gonna have to go to the tape. Can we roll? Roll that security footage, please?
What I recall is at the end of the night. Or excuse me, the next day when I was driving the 5 hours home on a couple of hours of sleep and the worst hangover I've had since I was 22, I was saying, "Fucking Josh." So it seems like it had to have been your fault. Otherwise, why would I have been so mad at you?
I mean, cognitive dissonance is a real thing.
That's
Caroline,
also true.
Caroline, the answer to this is probably make me sad because I know Josh is busy. But Caroline super chats and wants to know, Josh, have you heard about this current Truth and Justice case? And what do you think? She asked the what do you think before getting the answer to the first part.
I like it because that means Caroline assumes that you know all about it.
Right.
Love you, Caroline.
So it's funny. I was just saying today that the only true crime I engage in at this point is true crime that my friends produce. The asterisk there is
I was like, oh, Josh.
When I have time. And I like, look, the season just ended, what, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
And then I had to rush to a funeral. And now, so I'm like, I'm going to take 2 weeks and then I'm going to catch up with Bob. I'm going to catch up with Charlie. I might even give the captain a little bit of my free time. Like, it's coming. It just, I need a break from murder.
Yeah,
this is so unfair too, because this season is like the longest of all time. It's it's not complex, but it is complex. And so we have
there's 116 episodes to this season. So don't feel bad that you haven't caught up with it.
A lot to catch up
also,
on.
I don't know what the word season means, clearly, because 116 episodes. And that's not counting.
Oh, that's not hyperbole. That's legitimate.
That's for real.
That's legitimate. Yeah.
That's regular episodes and then all the follow-ups. And this year, the follow-ups have been crucial because there's a lot to unpack with like some of the interviews of Bob plays and stuff. So good luck.
Yeah, I'll be done in 10 years.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to send you a link to when I do my wrap-up episode and you'll get the gist of it. Because it's taken I'm really proud of this case this season because it's a super complicated case. It's a triple homicide, arson, 2 bodies shot, found in the house, 3rd body found in a wheelbarrow outside of the house, burned, and then unknown cause of death, and then it's a 10-year cold case, and then 2 who were then teenage friends of one of the victims were convicted of it, I believe 100% wrongfully convicted, but it was very, very complicated and it didn't make a lot of sense, and it was like ticking away at all these little details that got very boring at times, but then we've like, as far as I'm concerned, we've completely unraveled the case and realized
absolutely.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah. 160. You know what? And by the time we wrap, it'll probably be some 130. So 130 episodes, no big deal.
Yeah.
Easy
an hour a piece.
14 afternoons.
What are you drinking? I love the glass. That's a very fancy glass.
Oh, I'm drinking. It was a gift from Michelle Kaz. It was I'm sorry your duck and grandmother died, but congratulations on the season finale. It's Decoy Cabernet, and it's okay.
Wait, Decoy, like there's a duck on the label?
Yeah.
I get it, Kaz. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Thumbs
She's
up.
Clever, that one.
Mm-hmm.
And that quick of a turnaround got a custom wine glass made for you.
No, I mean CB2 made that wine glass for everyone.
Oh.
CB2 for everyone. It's right in their slogan.
And how's the partner? Everything going good?
Everything's good. He's doing a pilgrimage through Japan with his father right now. They're walking 120 miles. And yeah, everything's good. I'm enjoying a clean and quiet house.
Nice. Here's my question. Who you saying that I think answers it, but is one of you the neat freak and one of you not so much?
Yeah, I am I organize the dishwasher when I'll go in and reopen it and reorganize the dishes, and I'm a little bit psychotic when it comes to, I mean, I'm a Virgo, if that means anything to anyone.
As someone whose moon is in Virgo, yes it does.
I'm a neat freak, and he's very much like, here's this thing that he says at least twice a week: I never lose anything, but I can't find fill in the blank. I'm like,
yeah.
Josh, this is why I think that we are great friends, and we could never be a couple because we are the same. My wife gets so mad at me because she will load the dishwasher and then I will go behind her. Like I just have one plate to put in, and I'm like, oh, this is nonsense, and I pull everything back out, and it has to be stacked and arranged just properly.
Can we just agree that like all the spoons should go together and all the forks should go together? So when we empty it, it's just real easy. You just like one bucket for one drawer and another bucket for another.
You know what? Let's put all the plates in the back. Just put them all in the back in a nice line. Nothing infuriates me more than a plate, a bowl, another plate stuck over here. I mean, it's very inefficient. You agree, right, Janet?
Yes, I am also that person in my relationship. So 100%.
I'm sure everyone who came here to hear true crime is like, oh, this is the information I've been waiting for. How do they load the dishwasher?
We may have to rename the show because I don't know what this show is about yet. We're figuring out as we go, as we move along. We talk very little true crime. Jeanette Lee, thank you so much for the super chat. Who says excellent season and they are innocent. I 100% agree. I wish.
Ooh, here's one. We got to hit Garrett's before we let you go.
Okay.
But anyway, so go ahead. You wish what?
I wish there was, and my goal at the end of the season is to put together like a very well written, organized one episode narrative that breaks that can clearly explain how they got convicted, how we know they're innocent, and hopefully maybe who we think may have done it. Well, however things work out. But what I want to be able to do is for someone like Josh or any listeners, like, are you interested in this case? This was a horrible injustice. Here's a link to one episode that'll give you the information that you need that took us a year and a half to figure out. It's all boom right there.
I think I want to do that with the keys stuff because I feel like at a certain point the barrier to entry becomes so high that someone's like, I can't take this on. It's like 70 hours. So yeah.
I definitely need for true crime bullshit. I definitely wish I had, and I'm sure this exists. But I wish I had like a this is who each person was, because there's some jumping around or there's things that call back, and you always are good about saying that we discussed back in season X, but nothing makes me feel worse in the moment than going, oh God, of course I know that person, of course I know that name. We've talked about a lot of people. It's been a minute, like, wanting to, I want my cheat sheet that's like, yes, this date, this time, this place, this is when this, this is this person's story.
I'm working on it now. We're launching.
But I'm sure a fan has already done that. I just don't know where to look.
The fans kind of have, but I feel like we need. So I'm putting together basically a dynamic timeline / map.
Oh, great!
Cool. We'll have all the people, all the places, all the times. So
awesome. Okay, so I just want to quickly read Garrett's. Garrett says, Josh, I'm from Northeast Utah near Green River, Wyoming and Flaming Gorge Reservoir. There's a local rumor that one of IK's kill kits near there was found and discarded by USFS personnel. Have you ever heard this?
I actually was out there last year. I had not heard that rumor, but the team and I, kind of based on what we know about keys, determined that was the most likely place the kill kit was. And I was staying at this motel and I was talking to the bartender. And I was like, have you heard of the Keys case? And she was like, no. And so we were just kind of chit-chatting about what I do. She goes, well, come to think of it, in 2013, the FBI was out at Flaming Gorge for like a week, and no one knew why. And I was like, oh, so we believe that's where the kill kit is, based on just like the history of keys, but also based on the fact that the FBI was out there at the time they would have been investigating keys.
Sure.
But I know some people on the inside, and I think that if it had been found and discarded, I would have heard about that.
Got it. Okay. That's a juicy tidbit right there.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you've been able to dedicate like all these years to working this case, to where you've developed like this like network of people that can help you. Where you have all those inside scoops.
It's wild that people are coming to me now, like people involved in the case.
I'm so glad. That development as you were sort of unfolding it this season was very exciting. This idea of, people with access to information feeling like it's meaningful and important to get you that access was like extremely satisfying as a listener.
I'm going to ask you to not spoil anything for me because I'm too busy to have listened to the current season.
How dare you?
If you you would know that Josh has mixed feelings about how many years he's worked on the case. Thanks.
I will be. You were, and I mean this, bud. And I told you this, when we first met, that I don't consume a whole lot of true crime. I just, because I live it. I spend a lot more time listening, consuming other media. But your show is one of the few that I get into it and I binge it until I'm caught up, and then it's so well produced and so well researched in what you're doing, and I love that what you're doing has a purpose. You know, that you're not just telling a story, that you're really trying to affect change for people and bring closure to people and figure things out. I love it.
Thanks. I was talking to someone the other day, and you can probably relate to this, how like you kind of become singular to people. Like more people know you as like one thing than the people who actually know all of you.
Yeah.
And so then you kind of like start to identify with your captor. You have like persona Stockholm syndrome. And so like there's this weird thing where I'm like, I don't know how to respond to that because it doesn't feel real. But I appreciate it.
Right.
Totally.
Yeah, I have that. I don't know, except for I never think to articulate that I don't know how to respond to it. I usually just stutter and stammer. It's just like,
Well, and it's like this weird thing because you can only aw shucks so many times before you hate yourself.
Right. Like, you know what? Actually, I am pretty great. You're right. That's an astute observation that you have there. Well, Josh, hey man, thank you so much for jumping on it. It was just good to catch up with you guys, and that's
it's good to see you. And Janet, it's great to meet you. And I will respond to your email probably in 1 to 8 months.
Don't worry, but the amount of time I'm able to put into the thing I emailed you about is about once every 8 months, so it's hard. So, like I said, it's
We'll get to the bottom of it.
Sync up perfectly.
Yeah, we'll complete this by the time I finish Bob's new season.
That's right. That's right. So never. Yeah, 100%. Understood.
Before we let you go and we go to end this live stream, we do have one last chat that I want to make sure I get in because it's very important. Tracy Courtney says that she loves the elephant doorstop.
I saw that.
Oh my God! So that actually, this is now the third time I brought it up. My grandma died. I was out there 3 different times. She was obsessed with elephants, and I was like, I don't want to be the asshole who like talks about what they want right away, but I was like, I want that elephant, and everyone was like, no, you take it. So that is from my grandma.
Oh, that's awesome. I have a similar thing from my grandmother when she died, and it was the same thing, kind of a weird thing, but it was she had this little statue of Crazy Horse, and it just, I remembered it from when I was a kid. It's nothing special, but it was always like. She had this big kind of like shadow boxing mirror that always sat there. And when my grandma passed away a couple years ago, I was just like, can I just have that? I just want that. It doesn't go with anything in my house, but I just need that because I'll always remember.
Oh yeah, I definitely have some of those.
For sure.
Different folks.
That awkward silence, it tells me that's a perfect time to shut things down. So we're gonna go ahead and end this live stream thing. We're planning on, or did we book it for Thursday?
Yeah.
Janet? So Janet and I will be live Thursday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. Where am I at? Eastern time. That's where I'm at. So 8 Pacific, 11 Eastern. We'll be right back here. And shoot us emails, anything on social media, anything like that, and let us know if there's things that you guys want to chat about. We will definitely do that. And with that,
and Christy on Twitter, we didn't get to talk about Bowman today, which is a sad and very fascinating case. But for anybody who's interested, the timing has been very interesting because it's been covered on the Vanish podcast and a few other podcasts. But right now is being covered on the Vanish podcast, and they've located him today. So and it's a very interesting story. I'm sorry we didn't get to cover it, but perhaps we can talk about that on Thursday.
Yeah, put a note in that. Okay. I did not know that they had any movement in that case.
Yeah.
So that would be super interesting to talk to. Might have been a good idea for us to talk about that instead of the Quail shit story that I told earlier. But
that seemed so important to you at the time.
Talk about it on Thursday. Yeah. All right, everybody on YouTube, thank you guys very much. And Josh, thank you so much for joining us, buddy.
Thanks for having me.